What is going on, IF Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and do you find it super difficult to do intermittent fasting? Is it very hard for you? Well, I'm gonna give you some tips to make this process easy for you to get into intermittent fasting so that you can successfully reach your fitness goals. Stay tuned. Over a couple of years, I've been communicating with friends and family to understand what makes them start or quit, or how it becomes easier for them to even begin the regimen or to stick with the regimen. And I've compiled a few things that I've noticed a common trend that allowed them to do intermittent fasting much easier. And usually when these things are in place, they are more successful with the protocol. To understand, what do you do normally every single day? Do you work in the morning? Do you work at night? Do you work during the overnight, during the early mornings of the day? If you do, then you have to take that into account when constructing your intermittent fasting time. For example, if you want to do intermittent fasting during the afternoon, like a 2:30 to 6:30, but you work during the overnight, that might be a little bit difficult because you'll stop eating at 6:30, then you'll continue to be awake throughout the entire day, and then into the morning when you go to sleep, finally, after you've worked your overnight shift, which is probably going to be like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning by the time you go to sleep. So you're basically awake for a good amount of time before you go to sleep, just to wake up possibly past 2:30, so you're not even taking advantage of that time frame, and then maybe waking up like at 4, depending on how tired you are or when your shift ended. So you want to make sure that it is tailor-made for your lifestyle. So if you work during the overnight, maybe you want to eat during the overnight, or you want to eat right when you wake up, so you maybe push it to 4 or 5 whenever you notice the times that you normally wake up on. If you work in the morning, maybe you want to structure it for after work, right after work, depending on if you need to eat after work. Make it tailor-made for the lifestyle that you live. That will make it easier for you to stick to it, for it to work, and for you to be successful with the regimen. Before you could make fasting very comfortable where you could do it whenever you want, you have to take into account things that you actually do like and do appreciate right now. And that's to make it as smooth as possible, transitioning from not fasting to fasting. For example, if you love breakfast, right? And by breakfast, I know breakfast means breaking your fast, which could be any time during the day. But in the interest of time, every time I say breakfast, I mean in the morning, when you eat in the morning. If you love eating in the morning, then structure your intermittent fasting regimen to work with that. So if you want to wake up and eat something, and you want to eat a hearty meal or whatever it is that you normally do when you eat breakfast, go ahead and eat breakfast. Have an eating window that's coupled within your breakfast. Maybe have a later breakfast than normal, just to give yourself that little bit of an edge. And then probably if you go to work, maybe have something else before your eating window ends. But understand that if you love breakfast so much, what you're sacrificing is the entire day of not eating until you eat in the morning. So how much do you love breakfast? If you don't love breakfast that much, if you got it's just a little bit, but it isn't enough to make you not eat throughout the entire day, which might drive you nuts, skip breakfast. Breakfast is actually the easiest meal to skip because usually people got things to do in the morning. A lot of people accidentally do intermittent fasting every now and then because they're constantly skipping breakfast. Breakfast is notoriously being skipped all the time because people are just busy in the morning. People wake up, they need to do things, they need to get ready for stuff, and they don't eat breakfast. But the thing is, when people don't eat breakfast, they psychologically psych themselves out and say, hey, I need to eat more because I didn't eat breakfast, so I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna eat that, and I'm gonna eat throughout the day a little bit more than normal. But intermittent fasting, you understand that not eating breakfast was beneficial for you, and you're going to utilize that into your intermittent fasting regimen. Not skipping breakfast for somebody who absolutely adores eating breakfast and that's their number one thing might be a better proposition for them, but probably 9 times out of 10 is the better solution because it's the easier meal of the 3 to completely skip. Now, maybe down the line, you'll switch that up. You'll start to eat things that are healthier, that make more sense in terms of weight loss and things that it does in your body that assist you with the weight loss, with the fat burning. That is going to happen. But if you're finding intermittent fasting extremely difficult to do, You need to eat things that you actually like in the beginning, at least for a few months. Don't go overboard and just eat pizza, candy, and burgers, and that's it. Throw those things in every once in a while. Throw things in that you actually like. Don't focus so much on the food itself in the beginning, only because this will allow you to do it, feel the satisfaction of it, so that you don't feel a strain. Whereas like you're dying from the whole fasting thing, and then when you eat, you're just eating something that you don't really care for that much, and then now you gotta fast again, and it ends up being something where it's like devastating thing over here, devastating thing over here. Where's my prize? Where's the satisfaction that I'm supposed to get out of this? And a lot of times when it comes to regimens and diets and stuff, there aren't really satisfaction periods in there. The satisfaction comes incrementally over time by seeing that what you're doing is paying off, by you losing weight. But if you can set some type of psychological enhancement in your brain by doing certain things that create a positive reaction within the day-to-day routine of your diet, then that will definitely help you hook onto the rhythm of that diet. Oh wow, I'm satisfied with the food that I'm actually eating, so this isn't that bad. As you get better with it, you would get so accustomed to fasting, you become fat adapted, which means that your body would be very productive and efficient in burning fat for energy, that it's not in a stress level that it was from the beginning. In the beginning, you're super hungry because your body's telling you, what are you doing? Get something to eat right now. You've never done this before. Go eat. But after a while, your body's like, okay, I get it. This is your thing. This is what you're doing now, and we will accept that. Now you're not going to feel that stress. If you do something positive every day, it will help reinforce the habit of intermittent fasting and even help adjust your body to that type of regimen. If you keep yourself occupied, if you're constantly doing things, it is very difficult for you to think about eating. Now, a lot of people that do intermittent fasting, when they start intermittent fasting, they're thinking so much about it. They're not letting it just fall in the back, just hanging back there, out of sight, out of mind. They're not letting that happen. They're like, oh my God, I'm fasting right now. I'm still fasting, and I'm gonna be fasting for a little bit more time, and then I'm gonna eat. I really hope this works. I really hope I can lose this weight, because right now I'm fasting and I think it's working. I hope it's working. You need to 100% let it just happen. When it's time to eat, it's time to eat. If you go past it by an hour or half an hour, that's fine. Like, I want you to like casually go into your feeding window, because if you're constantly focusing, razor sharp focus, you're gonna think too much about food, and it's gonna make you feel extremely hungry. Now, if you don't think about it, if you occupy yourself, if you do chores, if you go to work, if you're, you do things on the computer that you're working on, if you're doing your hobby, whatever it is, if you're a painter, you're painting, if you're an artist, you're drawing something, like whatever it is, like watch Netflix, whatever it takes for you to just not think about the fact that you're doing a fast. Don't even think about it. It's supposed to be completely natural, where you're not thinking about it. When you do think about it, that's when it'll mess you up. And if you keep constantly thinking about it every single day, you will break your routine very, very easily. This is one thing that I've always told everyone when they come to me and they can't stop thinking about food. I always tell them, occupy yourself. Occupy yourself with other things. Whenever I'm doing something, like, I just don't even notice my window break time. Like, I don't notice it ever. Like, I look and I'm like, oh wow, it's 3 o'clock and I should have broken my eating window at 2:30. It has to be at that level where you're literally not thinking about it, just letting it ride, just being very smooth with it. It's not this robotic, like it's 2:30, now I have to eat, and then, like it's 6:30, now I can't eat, I have to throw everything that's in my mouth out into the garbage because I can't eat after 6:30. It's not meant to be that. It's meant to be something very easy, very smooth, and if you don't think about it, it'll be very easy for you to do in the long run. All these things are to assist you to make intermittent fasting easier. Now, when you get to the point where you find yourself fasting very easily, where it's literally like you don't even feel hunger, and that will happen after months and months of fasting, there gets a point where you eat, when you break your fast, you are still not hungry. Believe it or not, when I break my fast, I'm not hungry at the moment of breaking my fast. It's very rare. Usually I have to do maybe about a 48-hour fast to feel the appetite for actually wanting to eat food. Now, a lot of people say, well, why would I ever want that? Why would I ever want that feeling? It's not a bad feeling. It's not like you feel full, so you don't want to eat. You just don't feel hungry. You just don't have that like raging hunger to eat food. It's a hard thing to explain. You're not full, obviously, but you're also not hungry. And that actually lends to the benefit to you, because when you start eating, you don't start going crazy and try to binge eat because you're so hungry and you just want to make sure that you don't have that hunger feeling going into your fast. You actually just eat like a normal person. So basically what I'm saying is that you want to do all these things to make it easy for you in the beginning. If you find it hard, there's some people that just go right into intermittent fasting and they use the mind over matter technique and they pull it off and it doesn't matter. There's some people that just go into it and it's already easy for them because they kind of done a hybrid of fasting, not fasting throughout their life anyways. But for some people that haven't done those things, for some people that struggle with intermittent fasting and want so badly for this to succeed, I would tell you that do these things that I've just mentioned in this video to get you into that habit, just to get you into that rhythm. And by that I mean 2 to 3 months. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll be adapted to the habit. But within 2 to 3 months, you may be completely locked in by that time, where you can't believe how easy it is to do intermittent fasting. I want you to get to that point. Get to that point and then switch over to doing things that may enhance your intermittent fasting experience much better. Things like switching off from the 16-8 intermittent fasting diet and going to a more aggressive 20-4 diet, or going to even more aggressive OMAD diet, or sprinkling in the 48-hour diet every now and then. When you take control of the sensation of the mental aspect of intermittent fasting, then you can be much more effective and go into more stringent regimens with intermittent fasting, or put time limits that are there to enhance your intermittent fasting protocol because you're so adapted to the regimen. So use these things as a way to get into it as easy as possible. And I hope these tips help you start it and stick with it. Now I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon. I'm going to put their names right up here. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for another FAQ. Peace!